How to Get Over Guilt. Hi, my name is Dr. Meghana Dikshit. I'm the author of the book You Matter and Brain and Performance Expert. If you have visited this channel, I'm sure you are working on yourself and you are heavily into personal development. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so that every new video that we post for your benefit will reach you and you will get the notification. Today we're going to talk about how to overcome guilt. And a lot of you have told me that you would want me to cover this topic and you would want me to help you overcome whatever guilty feeling that you have from time and again that comes to you. Now, I want to share with you a little bit about guilt before I start on working on how to overcome guilt. The first thing that you need to understand is, as a human being, guilt and shame is a part of us evolving. It's normal to feel guilty, it's normal to feel shame while you are working on yourself or while life is going on, because a lot of times life brings us with a lot of challenges and a lot of things come on the way where we are not able to easily balance everything in our life. Now sometimes it may happen that you are working hard and because of that you are ignoring your family, and that may make you feel guilty. If you are a mother and you're still working and your child with somebody else who's raising your child, you're going to feel guilty. It's possible that you avoided a friend to focus on something else, you're going to feel guilty. Many things, like time and again, like your parent is working very hard and you feel that all the money is spent on you, guilty. Maybe it is like you're a homemaker and your husband is working and bringing the money, guilty. Maybe you are a parent and you are not working and your child is bringing home the paycheck and you are feeling that you're living off your child, guilty. There are so many reasons to feel guilty. And remember this, guilt is not always bad. There are two kinds of guilts. The first kind of a guilt is an appropriate, healthy guilt, where your guilt guides you on working on yourself so that you can focus on yourself. Like suppose you miss calling your parent, or you missed talking to your friend, or you missed working on that project and instead of that you went for a movie. Now things like that are going to make you feel guilty are actually helping you to take that action. So the appropriate amount of guilt is going to make you better human being in terms of helping you to improve on your conscience and your cognitive abilities, so that you can rectify your mistakes, you learn from your past experiences, and you change your life in future. So it's a good kind of a guilt. So if you're feeling that kind of a guilt, your job is very simple. You make a list of every week, probably you can sit down, or every month you can sit down and make a list of things that you feel guilty like this. Like, I missed calling my father, I missed talking to my sibling, I missed talking to my friend, I missed working on my project, I missed updating my resume, I missed sending that email. So whatever generally you're procrastinating on, or you're probably giving time to something else or priority to something else over these necessary things, you may want to make a list of it. You can make a list of it weekly or monthly so that you can just simply take care of those things and you stop feeling guilty about it. So if it is this kind of a guilt, nothing to worry. This is a simple solution for you. But there is another kind of a guilt, and that guilt is something which is like a overbearing guilt, overwhelming guilt. If you continuously feel guilty about something or the other, you become constantly the person who is living in guilt, and that is actually become your comfort zone. You heard it right. I spoke about guilt being your comfort zone. Because what does shame and guilt makes you do? It puts you in a victim zone. A constant shame and a constant guilt actually comes from the space where you feel you don't deserve the good life. If you feel somebody loves you, you're going to feel guilty. If somebody gives you the gifts, you're going to feel guilty and you want to give it back. If somebody supports you, you're going to feel guilty. Anything and everything happens around you, the good things especially, you're going to feel guilty because you feel that you are not lovable and you feel that you're burden on your loved ones. Now this kind of a guilt is pretty harming for your mental health. And this kind of a guilt can actually over a period of time turn into anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorders. It can cause you depression. It can cause a lot of stress and a lot of emotional distress. It can actually get into a lot of nervous system irregulations that may cause sleepless nights. Shame and guilt can cause a lot of energy blocks, and these energy blocks not only can result into you having some mental health issues, but alongside it can also cause some serious diseases in the body, like it could be chronic illnesses. In his book, Dr. David Hawkins speaks about, in the book Power versus Force, is shame and guilt has the lowest frequency amongst the emotions, just above the dead person. So if you can imagine, if these are such lower frequencies, lower vibrations, it actually causes a lot of block into your sacral chakra. And sacral chakra is all about beyond survival, right? So anything like the guilt can actually keep you back in the survival zone, and it can actually cause a lot of digestive distress. So if you're facing something like this, that you're trying to work really hard and you're not getting results, you are feeling that opportunities just come and pass away, you never end up closing that deal, or you never end up getting that promotion, or something or the other happen that your life and opportunities are getting sabotaged, then you may want to reconsider, and you may want to reflect upon yourself that probably it's the block in your energy that is caused by shame and guilt. And this has a deeper roots that you need to identify. Since these are the lowest frequencies, you need to go deep down to see what is the first or the worst time ever you faced shame and guilt. If you are perpetually a person who's constantly revolving around guilt, then I must tell you this, that the early experiences in your childhood, at the earliest at the age of 3, 4 to 7, where you may have felt that shame or that guilt may be still there in your space, and it may not be there in your conscious awareness, but in your subconscious mind they are probably still causing the same distress, and they are now invoking those emotions in your space. And anything then pretty much happening in your life, you're feeling guilty, because you deep down inside you don't feel that you deserve that happiness, you don't deserve love, you don't deserve support, you don't deserve money. Not consciously, but subconsciously. So let's start working on how to overcome this guilt. For this, what I want you to do is, and I'm going to tell you step-by-step way to overcome this through journaling process. So what I want you to do is, I want you to quickly get your pen and paper and start working with me. But make sure before you do so, I want you to tell me in the chat box, what are some of the experiences that you go through every single day, or maybe on repetition? It almost feels like it's a pattern. Out of all the experiences, all the symptoms that I shared with you right now in this video, what are some of them that you face regularly? Let me know in the chat box, because you know what? If you will put that in the chat box, it will help somebody else to resonate and understand that they are not alone. And one of the biggest things that helps you to overcome your guilt is knowing that you're not the only person on this planet who's feeling this way. Maybe your story can inspire somebody else to take that action. So make sure, put that comment in the chat box. And now let's start working on your guilt. Ready? Let's start. So first and foremost, take a journal, take a pen, and start writing what you feel guilty about. Remember, when you're doing this exercise, isolate yourself. Set aside some good time with yourself so you're not in rush. So it's very important that you're isolated and you're not in rush, because now what you're going to do with this exercise is you're going to go deeper in your subconscious mind to identify some of the situations, some of the times, some of the events that may have happened in your life that may be causing you to be in the perpetual guilt syndrome. So think about it. What do you truly feel guilty about? Is it shouting on your child? Is it taking out your anger on your family members? Is it skipping that interview? Is it not writing that report? What are you feeling guilty about right now? Just right now, just take a notepad and pen. And it may be a long list. The cue here is to not judge yourself. Be more compassionate. And as much as your list goes longer, it doesn't matter. Just keep writing and keep writing. Be patient with yourself. Keep writing what are the things that you regularly feel guilty about. Now, once you have written this complete list, and maybe you can add to this list later on as well. So leave some blank lines or blank sheets so that you can keep adding into it. Now, why am I telling you? Because every person is different. When I was growing and when I was, evolving and I was working on myself, I remember I had really long list of guilt and the things that I feel guilty about. It was a common theme of my life where I kept feeling guilty for something or the other. I could just not be happy with myself. The key for this exercise is to not judge yourself. How much ever the list is long, it's completely fine. Remember, the list is longer today, but this is not going to be like this forever. You're working on yourself, so be more patient. Open your heart, open your mind to feel the frustration, to feel that disappointment, anger, sadness, whatever you're feeling. Once you've identified what is the feeling, the key is to not run away from it or not fight with it. But the key is to sit with it. Just sit with it. Once you've identified the emotion, simply close your eyes and go within yourself and see where that emotion is staying in your body. Because every emotion is energy in motion. And that energy is in motion is in body. Emotion is not somewhere outside, in the air. Emotion is inside you. So as much as you go within yourself, you start identifying where the emotion is. Is it in your heart? Is it in your head? Is it in your back? Is it in your stomach? Which part of the body, or is it all over the body? Does it make you feel there's pain in the body? Or is it making warm? Is it warm? Is it cold? Be more with that emotion. Stay with it as long as you want. Remember, don't run away or don't fight. The moment you acknowledge the emotion and stay with it, the only thing that you need to do is breathe through it. Focus on your breath, stay with that emotion, and go deeper into it. The moment you fully feel that emotion, it will go away, never to return. Once again, every time you do this activity, the next emotion will pop up. Do the same thing and it will go away. The more you repeat this exercise, and I'm telling you just like a prescription drug, maybe you can do it in the morning, maybe you can do it in the afternoon, maybe do it in the night. The longer the list, more times if you practice this, eventually you will observe after 3 months, after 6 months, your guilt is not only reducing, but the things that you feel guilty about are also reducing, because now you will become an action taker and you will tick mark those things and you will clear them from your space. Make sure in this moment to be very, very patient about yourself and the entire process. I want you to trust this process, because the more you trust this process, the better it will be. And remember, it's not a magic pill. It's not going to happen overnight. But so is if you keep thinking about whatever the scenarios happened in the past, and if you keep bringing up various scenarios in your space, that's also not going to be an easy ride. So which one would you like to take? Would you like to take a ride? Both the rides are difficult. One is going to be difficult in terms of maybe you're working through it and getting over it. And one is going to be ruminating it and thinking about it and building those worst case scenarios and never overcoming it. Which one do you think is better? The first one, right? So be more patient with yourself. The next thing that I want you to do is, once you've identified what emotion you feel, you'll go deeper to identify which is that event or which is that situation that you feel the most guilty about, and you feel trapped in that situation and you're not able to come out of that situation. In that case, I want you to start writing down the best possible results or the best case scenarios that can come up with. You can start writing about what are your wisdom, what is your lessons that you learned through that event or through that situation. And the more you learn from this situation, the lighter your guilt will become. And the next thing that I want you to do after this is simply practicing gratitude. If you feel guilty about your loved ones showering you gifts or love or support or money, how about rather than feeling guilty, start practicing gratitude? How about writing a gratitude journal for all those loved ones, for all those people, for all those things that has happened in your life that has made you who you are? Gratitude is an antidote for guilt. I want you to start writing your gratitude journal every single day. And remember, the guilt journal I told you to work on, don't just do it once. Do it every single day. As much time you get, it's all right. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Now what I see is the only reason you will not do this exercise is because you're feeling uncomfortable feeling those old things that happened in the past and you're avoiding them. And this is something that I really want you to be conscious about, that you know what, this will happen. It'll make you, this journal particularly will start making you feel miserable and uncomfortable. But it's totally up to you. And trust me, the more you dive into it, the lesser your burden will become. So don't stop here. Continue working on yourself. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Share this video with 10 people at least, those whom you feel are feeling the same kind of a guilt that you feel. And make sure that you hit the bell icon. See you soon.